Hey guys, it's 7 and today we're gonna be looking at Ferrari World Review, uh, uh, Abu Dhabi's Imperfect Roller Coaster Park by Coaster Studios. Let's check it out.
Coasters on the entire planet. Ferrari World was the first theme park to open up on Abu Dhabi's Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates. The entire park is indoors, situated underneath the world's largest Ferrari logo. It spans just under 1 million square feet in size. There are 6 roller coasters, multiple dark rides, and tons to do for every member of the family. Ferrari World is now one of 4 theme parks in the area, all of which are operated by Morale, but this is where you'll still find the best roller coasters. This includes what is currently the world's fastest roller coaster, Formula Rossa, an awesome intimate hypercoaster called Flying Aces, and the only operating dynamic attractions SFX coaster, Mission Ferrari. With a brand like Ferrari that is associated with speed and adrenaline, it only makes sense you have some epic, high-thrill rides here. And in early 2024, I had the opportunity to experience Ferrari World for my first ever time. In this video,
Just as reference, I haven't been here yet. I haven't been to Dubai or anything to even check this out. I have rode roller coasters before, so I've got some experience. But as far as like, how does this compare? How does this feel for myself? Like, I haven't been here before. No.
I'm going to talk about all the different attractions, highlight the pros, the cons, and give some tips in between. There's a lot packed into this one park. It's a place you're going to want to spend all day at. So let's dive in. First things first.
But so far, everything that I've seen through that little montage, I've liked a lot. But I don't really. I guess I don't really have a big opinion about Ferrari. I mean, I'd like to own a supercar or something one day, electric car one day. So maybe I'll pull that off. I don't know. But like, as far as like, do I care about Ferrari or Lamborghini or anything like that in particular? Not really. It's not a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying?
Covering how you even get here. If you're flying into Abu Dhabi, good news, you're only 5 miles away from Yas Island. The drive to Ferrari World will take just over 10 minutes, and what you're going to want to do is park at the Yas Mall. This is the center of Yas Island and also where you'll need to go to enter the theme park. Malls are very common in the UAE because of how hot it gets there. So much of the entertainment in this region is indoors, which is also why most theme parks in this region are enclosed. But one of the first big differences you'll notice between Ferrari World and the other theme parks in the area is Ferrari World is almost completely reliant on natural lighting. They constructed this place with huge glass windows in the center. You can actually look out and see one of the roller coasters, Turbo Track, shooting out through the center of the Ferrari logo into the outside. It's really cool. And as a result, it does mean that when you step into Ferrari World, it's going to be a bit warm in here. Naturally hotter when the sun is shining. As soon as it gets dark, it also gets dark inside the theme park. So you're always aware of what time of day it is. You know, when you visit Warner Brothers World, you completely lose track of time. You exit the park and it's dark out and you're like, whoa, when did that happen? These places are designed to transport you into a world that is completely different from what you're used to. And Ferrari World is very aware.
We'll probably check out some of those. I don't know about like immediately right after this one, but we'll probably check out like some of those like later because like those look kind of cool. And I think I saw something like maybe some years ago about those places. But we're not gonna hop into that right now. We'll see in the future though.
That it is a theme park. All of the attractions here have one cohesive theme. There aren't very many distinct areas. The whole park is an open air design, so it's not immersive like the parks next door. It's more of a vibe like Nickelodeon Universe in America. You can look out and see everything. But they have broken up the park into zones, but it's loose. You have the family zone, the racing zone, Italian zone, and adventure zone. And in some of these specific areas, you might find some attractions that are more
I do love that like the hold on
and adventure zone. And in some
like because we did see that video with Ryan Trehan. Did that actually make it through? I think I got a violation on that, but like if I'm not mistaken, no. That's the train one. There's another one I did that didn't actually go through. You know what's weird? YouTube's kind of strange about this. So I actually did the exact same thing that I've done all this time on every single reaction that I've ever done, but for whatever reason, this one video, I think it was like he tries like breakfast at different levels of like different levels of cost and like seeing how good they are, and it was like it got a violation warning, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what? You had me do this with the other one, and I appealed it, and you immediately looked at it and said, 'Oh yeah, that's fine.' What's the difference between this one and that one?' You know what I'm saying? I really don't understand it myself. But anyway, yeah. So I'm hoping this will go through. We'll see what happens. But if it happens again, I'm probably not going to be doing any more reaction content on YouTube. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do about that because it's just like if I did the same thing that I did before that worked, and now it doesn't work, I don't know what to do. Anyway, I'm done
Some of these
complaining.
specific areas, you might find some attractions that are more themed than others. And before we dive into some of those attractions, I should probably first acknowledge the price to get in here because Ferrari World is not cheap. If you book a ticket over a week in advance, it's going to be $85 to enter. If you buy it within less than 7 days of your visit, it'll be about $93 US. But there is some strategy here if you're planning on spending multiple days.
I'm just glad it's not $300 to get in there because I'm sitting there looking at like 345, and I know it's like AED and all that. But like, golly, bro, that's a lot of money to be dropping. I don't have to go there that bad.
On Yas Island visiting Warner Brothers, SeaWorld, or Yas Waterworld, you can get a combo ticket and that will bring the price down per park per day. So depending on how long you stick around, you might be only spending about $45 US to get into Ferrari World for the day.
Bro,
You might be only
bro, hold on. Let me look.
spending the price down per park per day. So depending on how long you stick around,
Like, this is kind of pissing me off right here. Like, why did you get on this ride just to get on your phone? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, cause when I go to like Carowinds or not Six Flags, King's Dominion, Universal, Disney World, I'm hopping on the ride. I'm not about to pull out my phone. I don't care how slow it is. Who gives a crap? Like, I'm here for the ride. Like that kind of annoys me
you
whenever I see
might be
that.
only spending about $45 US to get into Ferrari World for the day, which is a whole lot better, but it doesn't change the prices once you get inside. Any food you buy will cost you as well as the merchandise. Because this is licensed through Ferrari, anything you buy that uses the Ferrari logo is gonna be expensive because Morale and Ferrari are splitting your money. I bought a Ferrari World t-shirt because I had a great time here and I'm really not proud of how much money I spent on it. I think it was like $70 US. So yeah, be
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Ferrari. It's not in a particular reason. I just don't really care. I don't know why I'd even want to buy a car. And you'd have to be someone who just loves Ferraris, in my eyes, to do something like that.
prepared. Once you're in Ferrari World, the vibes can only be described as sleek. Because Morale is working so closely with Ferrari, they want the park to match the brand aesthetic. So it's very clean, very polished, and it looks expensive. One of the first things you see when you enter is actual real Ferraris out on display. Lots of posters and ads for Ferraris. It's a very interesting theme for a park, and I was actually kind of surprised that Ferrari has that much brand appeal that it can pull this many numbers. I'm convinced most of that is because of the attractions that they offer. Because like me personally, I have no attachment to the Ferrari brand. This probably would not interest me if it weren't for the rides. But here we are, and I personally traveled all the way across the world so I could go here. And this wasn't even the
I really don't feel like because like Ferrari's got a pull in the sense that they got a name out there like Lamborghini, but you would think it's just like a bunch of like cars or something, just like a bunch of car rides or whatever. They got like anything. But I think the fact that you could probably see some roller coasters coming out of the world, the park itself, might be the main attraction. If it didn't have roller coasters and stuff, I don't see this place doing that well. Because again, um, it just seems like a car show location. You know what I mean?
first Ferrari theme park that I've been to. I first visited Ferrari Land over in Spain. A much smaller, completely outdoor Ferrari park, also with an incredibly fast roller coaster. So clearly, the first one had enough appeal to warrant a whole nother Ferrari park. And while we personally visited on some pretty average days, we felt those crowds when we were in line. We spent 2 days at Ferrari World because we did not accomplish everything we wanted to do in one day. Now, that's coming from the perspective of someone who likes to do everything. If you're here to just get a couple rides on the roller coasters, you'll probably be fine. But when you come on in, you might want to take a look at those wait times and then decide for yourself whether you're going to want to invest in some skip the lines. Both days we went in February, we saw attractions that at one point had 45-minute to an hour-long queues. Our first day in the park, we got skip the line wristbands. Our second day, we did not. We just waited in the normal standby lines, which was fine for the dark rides and roller coasters like GT Challenge, which were always a walk-on. But the big e-tickets all had considerable waits. If it's your first time coming, it's probably worth the investment to get Quick Pass. During their low season, it's 150 AED, which translates to about 40 US dollars. And if you go during their high season, like December or January, you're going to pay a bit more, about 55 US dollars. And one of the reasons why the lines can get so long is because operations at this park can be hit or miss. We noticed one train operations on a lot of the attractions. A ride like Mission Ferrari was running at half capacity, and those standby lines just moved slowly. They're very safety conscious here, which I completely understand, but I believe that you can also do that while being efficient. And we physically saw times where the ride-offs were just standing there like twiddling their thumbs. And it was like, okay, come on guys, there's like a full queue of riders here. One thing I will applaud them for, the groupers were very good at making sure that all the seats on the trains were filled. They're always calling for single riders so that there wasn't a single empty seat, and I like that. I just don't like it when it eats up into the dispatch times. And also be aware, if you do happen to go to the park when it's completely dead, the ride-ops will still not allow you to stay on the train and just lap it as many times as you want. You have to go back around every single time, which definitely sucks for a ride like Flying Aces that has a really long queue, but you gotta get used to it. The last thing I'll add about the attractions here operationally, you'll probably want to check the park's website before you go to make sure that the rides you want to do will be open. Luckily, there's a whole page on the park's website for ride updates. They'll tell you when their annual maintenance is. Because this is a year-round park, they're open 365 days. Sometimes a roller coaster will be down for a month at a time. In our case, we missed out on 2 roller coasters, both of which were named Formula Rosa. Yes, we did not get to ride the world's fastest roller coaster, as well as Formula Rosa Jr., the little kids coaster. Before we planned our trip, Formula Rosa was open, and by the time we got there, it had been closed for about 2 weeks and would remain closed throughout 2024. It was very upsetting to miss such a bucket list roller coaster, but it is a great excuse to go back. Because I did have an awesome time here, and I really enjoyed the other attractions that I got to experience.
I mean, so far everything looks pretty good. I do kind of I it makes sense, so I'm not really upset about it. But it does kind of suck that it might go out for like a month and all that. But I mean, if it's year round, I mean it's indoors too, so it makes sense. I'm wondering about the high season versus low season, but I'm guessing that's got something to do with like if December is a high season, it's naturally just hot in general. So I guess that probably makes sense for like why it's a high
And
season.
I understand that stuff happens. I mean, who could have predicted that Formula Rosa would be closed for so long? But it's very common that I hear from friends who go out to the UAE to visit Ferrari World that one of the major attractions is down. Whether that's Flying Aces or Mission Ferrari or Turbo Track, whatever, it seems like a rarity that they have everything open at once. So another major thing to be aware of. So I will not be discussing the Formula Rosa ride experience in this video. I hope to experience it one day, but I did make separate videos talking all about Flying Aces and Mission.
It kind of reminds me of Anaconda from King's Dominion, but then again, there's a lot of rides that look kind of similar to that. There was also what's it called? What's it called? Um, was it Oregon Train or something? Um, it's like an old wooden ride. It's like some of the tracks patterns I've seen before, and I mean once you ride a big one before, like you kind of they kind of all start feeling the same. But I'm sure like I mean all that hot air too. Oh, all of that hot air you're going through as well. Oh my gosh. But once you start riding the big roller coasters, like they all kind of feel the same to some degree. So it's probably not too big of a miss, but it's certainly something I would like to experience.
Ferrari. I really enjoyed both of those experiences and highly recommend you go check those videos out. There's a lot of great detail in there about what those experiences offer. But other major attractions I'll quickly go through. I mentioned the roller coaster that shoots out through the center of the park. That's Turbo Track. It opened in 2017, replacing a drop tower. It's an Intamin shuttle coaster, extremely short ride, but it does manage to go up 210 feet in the air. It's very impressive, and I really like the
I think I think you can find that at Orlando. I remember not this specific ride like in name, but like a ride like this. I think you can find this in Orlando, as well as um. I don't think it's in Disney World. I think I saw it in King's Dominion though. So you could probably find something like that in those
forwards
too.
and backwards seating options. A ride that I'd probably recommend doing twice so that you can experience it both forwards and backwards because the experiences are different, but be aware of the line that this attraction will get. The good news about it is that they do have a switch track in the station so that they can load one vehicle while the other is cycling, so that's nice. Fiorana GT Challenge is one of the original roller coasters to open up at Ferrari World back in 2010. It's a Maurer Rides dueling coaster, extremely long ride, multiple launches, beautiful trains meant to simulate like a real-life Ferrari race. So the ride experience is made up of mostly laterals because that's the type of thing that you experience on a racetrack. I enjoyed this ride a lot more than I expected. I love how we dueled every single time and you stayed alongside the other vehicle crisscrossing until the very end. Tons of fun. And something that you'll notice about several of the roller
I think Carowinds has a ride like that. It's kind of like I think it starts like I think it's a very wooden ride too, because it's like it's beside where they have like the movie stations, because they've got like this movie ride you can do in Carowinds, and it's like it's right beside it. But it's like if I'm not mistaken, it's a wooden ride instead of a metal one. And they kind of do something similar there. It's kind of rough though, because like it's not like rough like beat your head on the side of the chair, but it's just kind of like one of those like you can you've got that freedom, but it's just like you're getting jerked a lot.
coasters here. Their entrances will be situated on the outer edges of Ferrari World. Because they take up so much land, they have to put the ride layouts outside. So you'll have an indoor queue, an indoor station, and they'll launch you or whatever into the outside world. It can be a big temperature adjustment. Because of the sand, you might have to wear goggles. That's primarily in reference to Formula Rosa, but if you have glasses and want to keep them on, they'll give you like protective goggles, which is kind of cool. They're very specific about loose articles here. Like when we rode Turbo Track, they make sure to empty your pockets. Don't bring anything up to the station, which was a little weird because they literally have bins there. But the groupers will tell you put everything in a locker, and luckily the lockers are free. You'll find them outside the entrances to each of the attractions. There's an attendant assigned to lockers. They'll come and physically open and close the locker for you, so make sure to remember your number. So let's move on from talking about the roller coasters to discuss some of the other attractions here at Ferrari World. And I want to highlight the dark rides because here in the UAE, there are some of the best dark rides I've ever experienced over at like Warner Brothers, Motion Gate, IMG has some really good ones. These are all places that have set a really high bar with detail and quality ride systems. So I was excited to see what Ferrari World has, and unfortunately, it's a whole lot of junk. This park has probably the worst collection of dark rides I have ever seen. So thank goodness the roller coasters are awesome. You can see where they've been putting their time and money. None of the rides I'm about to describe were that great, and I really would like to see some improvements in the future. So first up, we have Made in Maranello. This is a slow-moving dark ride telling you about how they build the Ferraris. It's a neat idea and concept and has some kind of cool effects here and there. There's one like really huge screen which I was like, whoa, but unfortunately its pacing is just awful and the general quality is not that good. I think this is
more just if you're a history buff, you just want to maybe you're studying not studying Ferrari, but maybe like you just like their vehicles and stuff like that. Like this, because it's not really a kid's ride in a sense of like a kid can ride it, but they're not gonna care that much. But like someone who's like into Ferraris, that maybe they bought a Ferrari or something like that, probably care about this a lot. So it is what it is.
one ride that they could keep but just do a major renovation for. Next up is Driving with the Champion, a 4D theater that is genuinely one of the worst attractions I've ever done. First of all, the operations were horrendous. It was such slow loading. And then you just rock back in your seat a bit while watching a crappy video, and it's like pathetic. I was shocked that Ferrari was okay having their brand associated with an attraction like this. Ferraris are associated with being fancy and modern.
They had it was in Disney World, I think. They had a Shrek ride. Um, Man, it's been so long, bro. I don't even really remember like what year that was, but like it was a Shrek ride. I think it was either uh, it had to be Disney World. It had to be. I feel like I thought it was in Orlando, but like I remember that like in Disney World they've got like three like locations over there, if I'm not mistaken. It's like three locations, and so it was like an open area when we walked over to it. Like I thought I was walking from like I thought I was walking in a city somewhere. And so I think it's in Disney World in one of their three locations. And so we were walking over to the Shrek ride, got in, and it was like the seats are rocking back and forth. They had the 3D goggles. They had like mist going beside your legs, like the spiders walking on your legs and stuff. They had what else was there? Like, I mean, you could they had, like, a lot of stuff that make you feel like you were a part of the movie itself, so I feel like that one, it sounds like the Ferrari world just kinda did a bad job. I'm not exactly sure how you make, someone feel immersed in, like, they're riding with the champions, you're driving the car and all that. I'm not exactly sure how you do that, but, like, the Shrek ride I remember was pretty good. I think it's in Disney World. I don't know if it's still there, but I think it's in Disney World. It was pretty good.
And this looks like it was shot in the 80s. And keep in mind, this park was built in 2010, so I don't know how
Disney World, Florida.
that happened. And I got the vibe that the people who made this had no idea how to make an attraction. It felt incredibly cheap, and I'm genuinely shocked this got greenlit. If I were in charge of Ferrari World, I would bulldoze this space and then use it for a motion simulator, something like Star Tours. So then you can have an actual ride instead of a movie theater and build a whole new story around it. This is something they should prioritize. Next up is Benno's Great Race. This was probably the best of all the dark rides in the park. It's very weird and quirky, maybe one of the oddest dark rides I've ever done. It's a shooting dark ride, but instead of shooting a screen, you're throwing wrenches. So I guess you're just like fixing cars? I don't know. It was quirky. I liked the physical sets, and it's clearly meant to be like a kid-friendly attraction, but it still left me scratching my head. This one they could probably get away with keeping. Next, we have Speed of Magic. This is a screen-based ride that follows a kid trying to get his car keys back from a cartoon character who jumped from the real world into a video game, and so you're just like flying through different scenery. It was better than the motion simulator, also very outdated, but still not great. Not an attraction I would willingly do again. But it still pales in comparison to the worst dark ride in the park, which is
It's reminding me of that the not Wii Sports. It's reminding me of that Wii game, that Speed Racer Wii game. Like, just I mean, I know we were just talking about Ferrari, but it reminds me a lot of that game because like that, it looks exactly like that world.
Viaggio and Viaggio. I don't know how to pronounce this. Flying over Italy. This is the worst flying theater I have ever done. It's a one-of-a-kind ride built by Huss. They're known for their like thrilling flat rides, and this ain't it. It barely moves you at all. The projections used aren't clear, the pacing is bad, you can visibly see the screen edges so it is not immersive at all. During our one and only ride, there was also a water effect that clearly was not working, and it just consistently shot water in my face, and that was not great. Not to mention, had extremely long dispatch times, and they were running at 1/3 capacity during our day. That line sucked. Yeah, this was probably the worst ride we did the entire trip. I only recommend that you do it just so you can see how bad it is. Like, it's comical. I'm all for a flying theater at Ferrari World, but how about instead you don't do the bare minimum and cut corners with a ride system like this, and try filming it on something other than a potato. So there it is, our 5 dark rides of Ferrari World. None of which I loved, which is really unfortunate because Hypersphere over at SeaWorld and Scooby-Doo, Batman Night Flight, Green Lantern, Justice League all over at Warner Brothers are great. I know this park is older, but come on guys. Take a break from adding roller coasters for a couple of years and fix up your dark rides. But moving on, other non-roller coaster.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like they didn't look that good from my point of view. But like it's not. I think the kids ride is probably the best one out of all of them, and like it's probably the only one I really liked out of what he showed. Um, your throwing wrench is kind of weird, but it's always I try to look at those like what is it supposed to be? Who's it supposed to be for? And yeah, that one's kind of like for the kids, so it is what it is. The other one, what I said before about the historics, is like I feel like if you're not a historian or you're not someone who cares about the history of Ferrari, like it's going to be a hit or miss for you anyway.
Dark ride attractions include this very cute car ride that takes you through different scenes of Italy. This was very popular with kids. We did it because it goes right underneath Mission Ferrari and we loved all the little models. One of the few slow moving car rides that I would like actively recommend as an adult. And there were actually several driving attractions in the park, which makes sense for a place called Ferrari World. Plenty of them are geared towards kids where they're in like mini Ferraris, which is cute. Karting Academy is an upcharge electric go-kart experience, something we did not do but look kind of neat. Go sign up the morning of your visit if you want to do it because it is not just something that anyone can do. It's all based on availability. We also have several climbing attractions, a little kids drop tower, plenty of midway games and challenges including changing a tire of a Ferrari, all very on brand for them. The last big Ferrari World experience that I'll mention that is not a ride that we did do and was really, really cool is a roof walk. For about $35 you can go on top of Ferrari World and see the world's largest Ferrari logo. And you get beautiful 360 views of Yas Island. I really enjoyed this. One of my favorite experiences of the day. I highly recommend checking this out. The sign-up desk is near the entrance to Flying Aces in that little car ride. You just pick a time that works for your schedule and then come back. They'll get you suited up in harnesses and walk.
And I don't care that much about seeing that logo. I'd be more interested in seeing around me, but you could get a drone to do that. I feel like, plus that's illegal. But yeah, you could get a drone to do something like that. I don't know. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Walk you around, take pictures. It was awesome. If you watch any of the other UAE review videos that I did, I mentioned that I never had a bad meal while in the Emirates, and Ferrari World was no exception. All the food here is made super fresh, so it might take a bit longer to get, but everything was delicious once it's in front of you. I tried multiple kinds of pasta at this Italian restaurant that also served pizza. That was super good. I had an incredible burger over by Flying Aces. I swear these UAE parks just don't miss when it comes to food. So in conclusion, Ferrari World is the park of the Middle East for roller coaster enthusiasts. I have a friend who was once on an extended layover at the Abu Dhabi airport on his way to Japan, and he had one day to do anything he wanted, and this is where he went, and I totally get that. If I were in his position, I probably would have done the same. When we were first planning our trip to the UAE, this was top of the list. The roller coasters here are totally awesome, and it makes a visit to Ferrari World worth it. Anything else, frankly, is just a bonus. I spent my time walking around the park so that I could experience everything, and then rides like Flying Aces and Mission Ferrari were the ones that I kept coming back to. Flying Aces specifically was my favorite ride in the entire country, so even if Formula Rossa didn't exist,
I mean, everything looks good so far. I'd certainly love to go there myself. I don't know about some of the upcharges they were doing, but like for the most part, everything looks pretty good. Um, it's just a matter of getting to Dubai, I guess, and getting a good room and all that. There's so many things going on in Dubai apparently, but I got to get there at some point. That place looks pretty cool. They've got so many things to do. I'd love to go there.
I would happily come back here just to experience that again. But the good news is, Moral has made it very clear they want to grow Ferrari World. Since the park's original debut, there's been several big new additions, and I personally don't expect them to stop. Expanding an indoor theme park inherently is tough, because often it means if you want to build something, you have to take something out. And luckily for Ferrari World, they have what I would consider several expendable attractions that are prime locations for something better. Because think of it this way. If you were to take the roller coasters out of the picture, is there still enough of a draw at Ferrari World to visit? Remove the roller coasters from SeaWorld and Warner Brothers next door, and
I really don't think it would work without the roller coasters. Like the dark rides they're not really that special. They're nothing because it's like it's there's nothing special. There's no theme or there's no nothing. You'd have to care a lot about Ferrari, and if you don't, like it doesn't matter. But the roller coasters are a universal type of thing that everyone cares about.
I think the answer is a very clear yes. With Ferrari World, I don't think it is. It's important to have other attractions that are worth doing. They may not be the attractions that get people in the gate, but they're part of what will make a guest day better. And the reality is, most of the non-roller coaster attractions at Ferrari World are extremely weak, and that makes Ferrari World as a park weaker. And let's be real, there's tough competition in the Emirates. Some of these parks are really fantastic, and Ferrari World's cons are what is holding it back from being what I would consider the country's #1 theme park. They're #1 for coasters, and that's great, but they could be more. The potential is there. They have some great looking areas, and clearly there's enough appeal that people will spend almost $100 to come in for the day. During their peak season, supposedly they'll pull 10,000 plus people a day. That's a lot for an indoor theme park. And don't forget, Ferrari World is directly next door to the Yas Marina, therefore the F1 race that brings in visitors from all over the world. You're gonna get a ton of internationals that will cross over into the theme park because they're already in town and they love the genre. And if they're in town for this year's F1 race, they will probably be back at some point in the future. So you build stronger attractions, they're more likely to come back. And if we even look at this on a global scale, even with Ferrari World's problems, I would still put them in the top 5 or whatever for best indoor theme parks in the world. Yeah, they're not the strongest overall, but there's room for improvement, and if they were to enact some of these changes I've mentioned, it'll make them even better, and I hope that that happens by the next time I'm in town. So let me know down in the comments below if you've been to Ferrari World, what was your experience? Did you agree with the points that I brought up? And if you're new to the channel, please go check out the Park Reviews playlist we have with places from all across the world organized in alphabetical order. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time.
So overall, I liked a lot of what I saw. I'd love to go there myself. Got to get to Dubai though. Um, but overall, I think that like you said, if you took the roller coasters out, would it work? I don't think so. I mean, truth be told, you thinking about Ferrari, you're thinking about speed, and roller coasters the only thing that's really attracting anything. So I think in general he's right about that, but I think that outside of that one history ride and that one you're that kind of race you're racing to get your keys back, dark ride. I don't think any of the other ones would work out as well. Um, but overall, I enjoyed what we saw here. Certainly inspires me to want to build up some wealth so I can go there. I hope it does for you too. And I really I do things like this. I react to videos like these, so that I can inspire you guys to want to grow and improve, so that you can go to places like this or enjoy things like this. That's always why one of the #1 reasons I do stuff like this. So I hope that this has helped you in some way. Remember, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Rumble, hit the follow button. If you're on Rumble, hit the subscribe button while this is premiering. And on YouTube, join the coffee account on ko-fi. I think it's like /7ninja, but it's in the description. Regardless, check out the description on both of these, and I will see you guys in the next one.